All right, everybody, we're back again for another round in the Enigmatic series, and this time we got Obsolete. How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, doing great, doing great. Thanks for hopping on with me. Uh,
I appreciate you having me, man.
yeah. So I guess first things first. I want to tell everybody about who you are, what you do as a music creator, and where you're from.
So I've been doing music for about 12, 13 years now. I'm from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I wasn't born and raised here, but I've spent most of my life here in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I was actually born in Alaska. I was a military brat, so I kind of lived a little bit everywhere growing up as a kid.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. How close is where you are to Cincinnati?
I want to say Cincinnati's about 5, maybe 6 hours away, give or
Oh,
take.
okay. So you're far. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. I'm from Cincinnati, so that's why I'm
Oh,
asking.
nice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, so interesting name. Where did that all come from for you? How did you come up with it?
So I used to be part of a two-man group. I used to go by the name of Two Face. That was kind of play on Batman and all of that. Long story short, it kind of derived from a lot of my family. I kind of view them as two-faced, so to speak. So it was kind of like a play on words where that came from. That whole group kind of just fell apart, and I kind of had to come to Jesus. I'm either gonna keep doing music and rebrand, rebuild, or I'm walking away. So I decided, one day, Obsolete just kind of stuck with me through. It derives from like the Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. When they were kind of going through their thing in TNA, and I grew up watching those guys, and I kind of taken my artist, so to speak, and kind of mirroring what a rapper slash wrestler would be and kind of combining the two into my music. So that's kind of how I came up with the Obsolete, and just kind of decided to change the spelling up a little bit and make it my own.
Hey, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. So, it sounds like you have some, wrestling inspiration in your music, but how did you start making music? How did that story all kind of begin for you?
Um, so it started. I started writing poetry. Honestly, I was probably 14, 15. Just kind of started writing poems. Realized that I was really good at expressing myself with words. And music had always been a staple from my early teenage years when I was first introduced to things like Bone Thugs and Harmony and Notorious B.I.G. Where up until that point, all I had known was Garth Brooks and Billy Ray Cyrus and a little bit of 80s heavy metal and stuff like that. So then it just kind of turned from writing poetry into writing rap, so to speak, and realized I was kind of good at it, and just kind of kept at it, and then wound up meeting the guy, as I mentioned earlier, that I did music with the first time, and just really fell in love the first time I went into a studio. I kind of felt like that's where I was supposed to be, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, gotcha. That's awesome. And you said you've been creating music for a little over 10 years, so I'm sure you have tons of experience and kind of wisdom to kind of speak on with everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So as far as finding people to work with now, and kind of this next phase or chapter in your journey as a music creator, do you get to collaborate much with other people in Enigmatic right now?
So I actually just recently, about a month ago, got introduced to these guys and slowly, getting my feel around the label and everybody there. Oz, actually, one of the engineers, just mixed my uh, single that I just dropped, 86, which was produced by Wishmaster. And then Apollo actually mixed and edited my Chris Calico Guts and Glory contest entry for me. And all those guys kind of, when I came into the fold, explained to them I'm, at the tail end of working on my album and finishing it up. But definitely am looking forward to collaborating with all of them and doing work with a lot of those guys because there's a lot of talent on that roster as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. How did you find out about the label? How did that all come about?
So they did the Devil's Night Festival around Halloween. And I'm not really sure how I got an email or somehow wound up hearing about it. But of course, I was intrigued from the moment I got it, just because it's another opportunity to, put my face out there and get my music out there. So, I was happy to jump on the opportunity. And so I did that. And a few days after it was released, I had a few people hitting me up, a couple new followers and stuff. And then Aaron messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, man, I really like your stuff, would like to kind of talk to you a little bit and see if we can't do some work together. And long story short, here I sit now talking to you in this interview. So
Yeah, the opportunity just keep coming. It's dope.
It's all about grinding, man. People, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of guys out there putting in the work, but a lot of people see go in the studio and drop a verse and think it's, that easy. And it's not, man. It's doing this right here, putting the work in and the little stuff people don't realize what we got to do to get out there like that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely get that. Now you mentioned that you're putting together an album right now. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. So it's going to be the dystopia of an MC. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Heels, but the one character on there, he his wrestling thing was the dystopia of something, and I heard the name and I was like, man, that's a cool name, and I kind of knew what it meant, but I googled what it was, and I was like, oh man, that's perfect. This album is my first. I call it my debut album. I had an album when I was Two Face as well, but I never really did a whole lot with it. So this is my first all the way, my project that I've taken my time and, done it my way. So it was kind of fitting to, the dystopia of an MC. I tell people all the time, I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist, I'm an MC. I love what I do, but it's not about rap. It's about, painting a picture with my words and things like that. So that was where I came up with the title for the album, and just got a couple more tracks to finish up, get recorded, and sent off to get mixed and mastered, and it'll be dropping probably right around the first of the year, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Definitely sounds like you're putting in that work. You know, I imagine there's just like a lot of time, a lot of effort that goes into putting it together a entire project like that. Were there any points, and I know you're still in the process, but are there ever any times where you feel like you're maybe having like creative block and can't really
Oh man,
work on it like you
that's
want
what's
to?
taken so long for the album to get where it is now. I started this about a year ago when I fully decided I was coming back and doing music. I recorded a few tracks while I was still living in Missouri and kind of did it myself and tried to do my own engineering. And I'm no engineer, but I got it kind of there, and just wasn't happy with the quality and all of that. And I told my fiance, I said, I'm not going to release anything else until I find somebody that can give me the quality I'm looking for. I hate to say it like that, but I don't want to waste, I could write a great track, but if the quality isn't there, nobody's really going to listen to it.
Mhm.
So I kind of, I was still writing and still, looking for beats and stuff like that, but I had stopped recording for a little while. And then I finally got the studio set up once we had got back here to Kentucky and, got into our home and stuff. And first couple of weeks, I was like, man, all right, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to pound out some songs and I'm going to get to it. And I came up here and I turned everything on and I sat in here for about an hour or two and just couldn't get that, kick in the ass to get it going. And I don't know, it took a little bit to get back in that mode again. But once I did, it's just constantly, I work a lot of days, 9 to 5, 6 o'clock at night, come home, eat some dinner, kick it with the fiance a little bit, and then I'm up here in the studio, whether it's trying to drop another verse or designing up album covers or, networking with some people. I'm constantly doing that on top of, trying to do the recording and stuff. Cause I want to drop the album, but if nobody knows I'm dropping an album, it doesn't really do any good.
Mhm. Yeah, gotcha. So, you know, is there anything in particular you think kind of helps you get out of that creative block? Any, you know?
Honestly, man, talking to, just like talking to the guys in the label or talking to people about music. It's a lot of people, for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, getting in that mode to, start talking about it and get the creative juices flowing is what, kind of lights that fire under my ass, so to speak, that man, now I want to go work
Mhm.
where, that's, I guess the niche that say people excuse me, say that you look for. Like that's what, if I can sit and talk, me and Aaron at the label talked the other night for like 20 minutes, just chopping it up about some music stuff. And then instantly I went and sat in the studio for 2-3 hours and knocked out a couple verses and stuff. Just, get you motivated, get you wanting to work.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It seems to be a common theme when I talk to people about it. You know, I guess just kind of in closing. Obviously, you've been doing it for a while. You've kind of had time to kind of figure out what works, what doesn't. Learn lessons along the way. Is there, I guess, any words of wisdom that you would give the people that are maybe just starting out, or maybe thinking about giving up, right, because things aren't going their way? Is there
Honestly, man, I tell everybody, my biggest motivation, the reason why I do what I do, don't get me wrong, I love this. It's a high unlike any other, getting on stage, whether it's 10 people or hundreds of people. But my biggest reason is for my kids. I wasn't one of those kids that grew up and, oh, you can be whatever you wanted. I was told to be realistic and, set normal goals for yourself, work a good factory job and just live life. And, I have 3 kids that, I want them to do whatever. It doesn't matter if they tell me they want to be the greatest scuba diver in the Antarctic or, whatever crazy thing it may be.
Yep.
I don't want them to say, dad didn't chase his dreams. It's like, yeah, this is what I love. This is, who I am, but it's also a dream. And, I tell anybody, don't ever give up on your dream, just because somebody else tells you to, or, you'll hear no a million times, but somebody out there is going to tell you yes. And even if it's yourself, just don't give up on your dreams, man. Everybody needs to dream.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it sounds like you're, an awesome role model. Passionate, getting it done, putting in the work. I mean, yeah, they're lucky to have you. So, yeah, I'm lucky to have you on this interview as well. I'm, super.
Man, I appreciate you having me for sure. Like I said, and I'm definitely gonna spread the word around and let people know about what you're doing, because you're doing a good thing here too. People don't realize, just stuff like this helps us in more ways than anything. Just because gives us a chance to network and tap into some people that and gives you a chance to tap into some people that we know. And this music thing's all about networking at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, if there's ever anything I can do to help you out, more interviews, connecting you with people, just let me know. I'm here to help.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. The same goes for you, man.
All right. Well, yeah, have a good night, and yeah, keep grinding, keep getting it done.
All right, man. You too.
All right.